Well, what do we have here? Mic check, mic check. Hopefully everything comes through pretty good. Alright. Uh-oh. What happened? My computer was making a noise. Oh, I think I know why. It's being dumb right now. Come on. Hold on. Let me just swap this one. See if this works. Okay. As soon as I hit, this shit's gotta start. Come on now. Okay, hang on just a second. Okay. Damn. Ugh. As soon as I press the unmute, my mouse decides to be like, no, I don't want to work now. Of course. Of course. A night like tonight, you wanna fuck up. Okay. First day on stream? Yeah. Okay. Let's make sure. Okay, we're golden. We're golden now. All right. Let's get into the oh, there it is. Woo-wee. All right. So just before we really get into it, I apologize. It's my first time streaming in like a long ass time, right? And a lot of that has to do with, you know, I used to have another channel and yeah, all that good stuff. But so tonight, the topic of discussion is going to be our boy Reforge Gaming. And if you happen to have come across this channel, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, well, you finna find out. So anyways, I had a video that I wanted to share, and this was going to be kind of my content delivery strategy ish, right? And basically that was going to be where I make a video, and instead of just uploading it, I wanted to go ahead and put it on here, and where we can actually watch it together, and you know, kind of get a little more into the dialogue, right? And during a live stream, it'll give me the opportunity to kind of work out some things or thoughts that were in my head that didn't exactly get put into the videos. But tonight we're going to be switching gears with that. I'm actually, the video that I put out, basically all it was it seems like Lono is fighting with his inner demons, or his inner dragon, as he would like to say, about, you know, people that criticize him, make content about him, and all that good shit. But tonight, I think what I'm going to do is actually have a conversation with you guys about my personal experience with his channel. So Now, to kind of begin, if oh, of course, there it is. Okay, my mouse decided to fall asleep again. Let's see. Let me just pause this real quick. Let me pause the music if it'll let me. Come on. Pause. Thank you. And I'm using my really crappy mouse too, so this is not going to help any. So anyways, don't mind this, all right? This is just temporary. All right, I just put that up there just to so the idea behind that was so that you weren't looking at a black screen until I decided to make the thing. Okay, because it would look like this. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should put some more in the background. So this is all a work in progress. Now let's see. Let me take a look and see. Okay. So I would like to share this part with you. So this is going to be a clip. This is a little bit old, but I think it will shine a little light on the situation about how Lono really feels about the all the salt farmers and people who make content off of him, or how he would say, you know. But yeah, let me go ahead and play this. And here we go.
I've done this before. I will intentionally say things in the live environment or in a tweet, knowing I know that gets put into content and videos, and I know people rail against it, and I don't even look for it anymore. I just know. I know. I'm like, they'll take the bait. They'll take the bait. And I want them to. I do.
Really?
And of course I added that a little bit at the end. You know, it was funny at the time. So basically, no matter how much he cries and whines about, you know, oh, they're going to put me in their content and clip me out of context, and that's always his MO, about everything being out of context. But it's almost quite frustrating because he thinks it's like some sort of narrative armor that he can wear, as if somebody actually clipping him out of context and making him say something that he really didn't, right? So let's go back to this, and just to kind of set the pace with how Lono really feels. Now, I will provide context for this next clip. The next clip is it's a very, very short clip, by the way, but I think it will highlight the fact that Lono has said the quiet part out loud. And I think you could just apply it to anything he ever says. So here, I'll go ahead and play it, and then we can kind of expand on it.
But I don't want to debate it. I don't want to have somebody try to legitimize it and argue the other side. I'm like, I don't care.
Okay, so now that's clipping out of context. So the context is he was discussing about how somebody put in chat something probably about a topic that they've discussed before. I didn't see what the comment was during the show, but I got a pretty sneaking suspicion that it was probably about Dragon Age Veilguard, or Veilguard. And he basically that's basically how he looks at everything. You know, he talks about wanting to be, you know, oh, this is about debating and live discussions and deeper intellectual thought. When in fact, he doesn't really give a fuck what you think. He just wants to be able to have the microphone and basically be able to, I would say, debate on easy mode, mind you, because, you know, his opponents are only allowed in chat and only limited to 200 characters. So, yeah, sure, that's a pretty well thought out debate. But anyways, I think that kind of solidifies literally his entire channel. He doesn't really give a fuck about any of these things, about whatever he thinks that he talks about. And one of the things that one reason why I decided to kind of move away from what I was going to talk about, because it was mainly, like I was saying earlier, before, he's kind of battling with his inner dragon, how he should handle the people, I would say the anti-woke crowd, and he wants to be able to talk about that. But he's kind of back and forth, not really sure how he wants to handle it. So, you know, I kind of went over it, and then looking back at the video, and of course, editing your own videos tends to have a lot of self-reflecting. And I felt like I could try to see if I could do a little bit better next time whenever there's a specific topic, and hopefully maybe make it much shorter videos. So, because that video was 2 different clips, and then it was like over an hour long, and I got it edited down after recording my commentary and then his commentary, smashing it together, editing every chopping block, you know, just edit. And it turned out to be like 30 minutes. It's like out of like an hour, I think it was almost an hour and a half. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Okay. So we kind of already know how he feels about this whole, you know, like the people that clip him and stuff like that. He encourages it. Well, at least he did before. He's been back and forth. Is it free advertising? Is it harassment? Is it weird? Like, dude, listen, you're a public figure and you're going to get clipped. That's the name of the business. So welcome to the internet, I guess. So anyways, I think one of the biggest reason why I wanted to come on here, because I've seen a lot of other videos that people have made about Lono and his channel, about a bunch of different of his hot takes. And one of the things I wanted to go over is I found, which is ironically, it was brought up in MBG's live show, or in his live streams, where he talked about, you know, whatever it is that he was talking about. So, but somebody in chat recommended this guy. I don't really have this set up here just yet for web browsing, but so that you could be able to see the channel. But his name is Gred, Gred as in dog, Glenstone. He's got 17K subscribers, and he did a video. Oh, what was it, like 8? Yeah, it was 8 months ago, and it was called "The Lost Art of video games critique. And I was fucking shocked whenever I first watched it. Because whenever I started listening to it, it literally basically describes Lono to a T. Right. And I noticed that a lot of people were talking about how they don't understand how he got up to like 50K. And I tell you what, Lono used to have way back in. So story time. Okay. Sorry. Let me just kind of move my stuff here. Story time. So once upon a time, Lono once was a Destiny 2 stream. What, way back. We're looking at probably 6 years plus, or 5 years, 6 years, whatever. I'm not here trying to be ultra accurate, but. And by the way, this is all coming from my personal view, my own personal experience. I do not have any kind of back insight, behind closed doors type stuff. This is completely from an audience point of view. So, long time ago, I came across Lono, and literally this was not something new. He literally had done this type of content of what he does now. Making videos talking about Dark Souls difficulty. That was a good one. Which is kind of ironic. Because I knew he had a really bad take when it came to about Dark Souls. So, anyways, Lono had he had his YouTube channel that he kind of uploaded, but he was mainly on Twitch. I kind of came around about the time when I seen a couple of snippets of some of his Q&A or anything that they talked about Destiny, because at the time, I'm really into Destiny too. And he was one of the, the naysayers, one of the people that contrarian, I would say, about anything that Bungie ever did. And he always, talked about how he loved the game so much, and he criticizes it because he loved it so much, which is quite ironic. Again, the lost art of video games critique. I'll just kind of reference back to that every once in a while. So, anyways, about the time that I came around was when he lost his Twitch channel. What happened in his past, I'm not going into it. It literally has nothing to do with here and now. I do have my own personal opinion about the whole situation, but a lot of it, let's just say, has to do with how he treats people nowadays is very close to how he was back then. So if that tells you anything. So anyways, I came across this channel and, I started watching it. And it was one of those, when someone really has really bad takes about, the game that you really enjoy, and they always complain. They're always complaining all the freaking time. All day, every day, it seems like they're complaining. And then he lost his Twitch, came to YouTube, or he officially, started streaming on his YouTube channel. And that was his first channel. Once he ended up getting banned from Destiny shortly after his Twitch ban, he tried to do the whole, different content, right? Where he would talk about other video games. Variety coverage is kind of where it was born. It was kind of forced into it. So he goes on with that, and jumping from game to game, trying this game, trying that game. And I don't know if he ever really, he never really tried to, he really tried to, you know, find that other Destiny for quite some time. You know, was trying to find that magical unicorn game that he could sink his teeth in. But I don't know, he just kept moving. But even during when he was still, and okay, kind of backtrack a little bit, you know, because it's relevant to the story here. Whenever he was officially on YouTube, still covering Destiny 2 all the way up till I say Season of Opulence, I think ish, around that time, or at least it was before Beyond Light, or it could have been a little bit after. Can't really remember off the top of my head. And all that content's gone. But literally every day, it was, he would talk about his past. You know, every single day it was brought up. Either he brought it up or somebody triggered him in his chat, and it would be long ass fucking rants. So basically, it's the same content but different subject. Same shit but different pile, basically, right? So, and he talked about it so much, and I decided to do my own kind of research, listening it, you know, I looked up their shit, you know, the other side, listen to what it is that they had to say, and, or at least read what they had to say off of their twitlongers. And I kind of came up with my own opinion about his past and whatever. But he would, you know, after kind of fast forwarding a little bit here, he would go from game to game to game. And I noticed that he would go into a community like the FromSoft. I was around then, where, you know, he would, when Elden Ring first was coming out, and he would kind of dip his toes, kind of hang around with those guys. And of course, he always tried to make it known that he's not sticking around. You know, he'll get what he needs out of the game. He'll make his videos and then he'll move on. Which kind of solidifies the whole, oh, he's just a tourist. He literally is either a tourist streamer, or you can call him a fucking hang on a sec. Let me get some music going in here. I feel like it's, there we go. The dead air is starting to drive me crazy. So anyway, and let me turn this down because I don't want to blow you guys' eardrums here. Okay, so FromSoft, you know, different communities that he would jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out, and he did that consistently, and that's how he really gained his traction with his audience. Once he moved over to his newest channel, because his other channel is basically, you know, dead in the water. Most of it was Destiny 2 content, and, you know, he was drowning in that, so he had to move. And of course, you know, he didn't fully move until he was able to be fully monetized on his newest channel, but it's neither here or there. He so after he moved over, did all his stuff, and then I noticed, you know, he would kind of grow a little bit over time, and it always seemed like every community he ever got into, that eventually he'll get to the point where he wants to try to find an out to be able to get out of the game. So he'll come up with some sort of hot take that'll kind of push him out, and he still kind of does that. Especially like here recently with the Assassin's Creed Shadows. You know, you talk about, you know, he would make countless videos, but once those videos start dropping off and they're no longer relevant, well, he no longer wants to be there, even though that he claims that he loves the game and he wants to live in the game, whatever the case may be. He's not there for that. You know, he just there so he can make his YouTube videos. And so he continues to do this over and over and over again, and he builds up a little bit of a following, right? And it takes him a while. I think it took like a year or two. So at some point, I can't tell you exactly, you know, fuck this. I'm tired of listening to this guy. It's time to move on. And I started listening to other people that was outside of gaming, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Anyways, after that, I came across another video. I'd say this would have been like 6 months, because I literally unsubscribed to his channel and everything. I didn't want to hear no more of his bullshit, because literally that's all it is, just bullshit. So he goes, and I come across a certain video from Oh No, It's Alex. Boy, that steamrolled me into holy shit. He went from people just come into his chat and talk shit to him, and then he would just, you know, put him on blast for a moment, you know, and bitch and whine about him for like 30 minutes and then ban him. You know, that's kind of his prerogative right there. But once I started seeing, when I saw Oh No, It's Alex, and then I started seeing other people making content about him, and I thought that was really fucking interesting, because he never had seen that kind of treatment back in the day. You know, whenever he was a D2 streamer, I'm pretty sure he had plenty of hot takes, but of course people would just come into his streams and disagree with him, but that's how he preferred it. He never had anybody ever making content, as far as I know. Like, holy shit. So that really threw me down into a rabbit hole of what was going on. And apparently this was around the whole ABK deal. I'm gonna be honest, I was out of the loop for that entire fiasco, so I couldn't even tell you what that was about. About the ABK deal and what his takes were. I couldn't give two shits about what he had to say about the whole ABK deal, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm sure it was great. But I started seeing all these other videos popping up. So he it kind of drew me back in. So I started watching his content again, and let's just say it wasn't for the subject matters that he would discuss. I think he wrote me in and how he intended me to be there. And like I said, you go and you listen to this guy who does a video. It's not even about Reforge. It's about some other guy that's about another guy that's critiquing another guy. And then this guy, this Gred, is critiquing this guy, right? So it's mind-blowing whenever you see this. And I think his intentions was, and that's the reason why he has such crazy hot takes. You know, one of the deals was, you know, how Dark Souls, let me see. I think if I go over here to web, or to my web studio, let me put this on here. And I'm not going to be able to show it, but you can at least listen. Okay. Let's see. Let me make sure. Okay. So I'm going to kind of back this up just a bit. So Reforge had this Dark Souls difficulty is misunderstood by Souls-like games.
Because I wasn't understanding what was going on. And that's related to the visual cues. This is something that was attacks that feel automatic, almost like you cannot mitigate or get away from the damage. Now, oftentimes, the lack of information is why somebody might think, oh, that fight is false difficulty. Maybe you're missing the sound cues or the visual cues. This is
I don't think you guys are even hearing this. Hang on. Hang on.
For me, when I first started getting into Souls games, because I kept thinking, there's no way I can get away from that attack. That seems like automatic damage is a term that I would use. I'm like, this seems kind of automatic. That would be a form of false difficulty, but most of the time it was simply me misunderstanding the mechanics. I wasn't understanding what was going on. And that's related to another element of false difficulty. There might be hidden or withheld information. They don't really let you know how something works, or they kind of keep it hidden from you. Maybe they surprise you. I would say that's a form of false difficulty. Now, sometimes as you go through the fight, there's new mechanics, there's new phases, and you have to kind of pay attention. But sometimes there are mechanics or things that don't have any explanation. You have to go look it up. You have to go read, somewhere outside of the game. I would consider that to be a degree of false difficulty. Somebody might say, well, you're supposed to experiment, you're supposed to do trial and error, or you literally learn by dying, right? You can't survive this. You're going to die the first time, and then you learn, and then you can come back. I would say that's false difficulty. It's mainly just teaching you a lesson through unstoppable pain or an unstoppable death. I wouldn't consider that to be true difficulty. Once you're sort of through that phase, obviously then it is difficult, and you can figure it out. And then I would also say another form of false difficulty is rule breaking. If an enemy sort of establishes the rules of the fight, rhythms, iframes, damage output, animations, things of this nature, and then they break those rules. All of a sudden they cancel out of a flurry or something, and they're not really supposed to be able to do that. That would be another, I think, form of false difficulty, because you can only go based on the information in front of you, and if that information is being misrepresented, that would be, I think, another form of false difficulty. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is a lot of the times in the difficulty discussion, there are people sort of demanding or insisting that difficulty settings be put into the game. And a lot of the times I think their take is all of this is false difficulty. You just made the game hard for the sake of making it hard, and it's inaccessible to other players. It's inaccessible to people, that can't, play games that are that difficult. And I support either who decide to put it into their game. I'm totally fine with that. We got into a debate recently about, different mechanics getting added to Armored Core 6.
Which, okay, so it's like that. Talking about how, Dark Souls type games. I believe this would have been around it would have been around Elden Ring, because obviously with Elden Ring is actually the game he's tagged this video in. So that being said, which is kind of ironic, you could go watch this video yourself, but I would highly suggest watching The Lost Art of Video Games Critique. Watch that, and then go watch Lono's video that's like 2 years old, I believe. Let me see. No, sorry. 1 year old. Sorry. It's only 1 year. So, that being said, basically, it's to simplify everything. His videos and his shows are not particularly set to actually have a discussion. He don't care. He doesn't, like he said before, here on this little quick clip that I have here. I think this is it.
But I don't want to debate it. I don't want to have somebody try to legitimize it and argue the other side. I'm like, I don't care.
So, and yes, out of context, technically that clip was basically about a specific subject for a specific game. However, you could literally just apply that to his entire channel. You literally could, because he has no intentions on really letting anybody else you know, to be able to defend their side. Of course, he has people that will debate him. Well, it kind of depends. If you're a paying member, then you get a little bit better treatment. If you're on a gifted member, then you are treated as second class. And he will try to bait you to try to call him a name, give him any reason to ban that, like, and trust me, people will think, or he will, if he like, if this ever gets out, and I guarantee you, he'll try to claim like, oh, I must be one of those people that got banned from his channel, and nah, homie, I'm still there. I'm still there on this account. Well, probably won't no longer be. So after this video or this live stream, yeah, he's probably gonna hunt me down and make sure that he deletes me off his channel. But that don't matter, because I'll still be able to see all the stupid fucking takes he has about anything and everything. So let me see here. And anymore nowadays, my it's kind of sad if you really think about it. My Twitter is just full blown, you know, a lot of the things that I either comment on, it's always the same. One of the guys that I follow on there is Astro Cyborg, where he clips Lono a lot, and he does other things as well, of course. And I comment on a lot of those things, which gives me the satisfaction, because I can say whatever I want and not have to be worried about being berated by Lono's little minions that he likes to keep in his chat. And trust me, I've seen a lot of what you guys say. Wow. Which is kind of funny when you really think about it. So I have like a whole bookload of a bunch of just stupid hot takes on my fucking Twitter. Like, it's basically Lono, basically all of his stupid shit I thought about making content off of. And of course, that's another thing about Lono, that he wants to try to discourage anybody to make content, or, you know, to eventually come out and decide, you know what, I'm gonna swing back, because my biggest problem with him is how he treats people, and it's kind of disgusting, especially when it comes to him thinking that he's the smartest man in the room and he's got to be the loudest. He doesn't give a fuck about what you think. Sure, he'll probably give you permission to speak, but by the end of the day, unless you roll over and be like, okay, I'm done, I'm sorry, because a lot of those people that would be willing to challenge him, they're in a community that they've made friends, and so a lot of them have paid for it. Like, they've used their hard-earned money to be able to pay for for it. I really don't give a fuck how he makes his money. You know, he could literally sit here all day long and be like, hey, I'm just here to sell memberships. I ain't here to talk about video games anymore. I don't care. That's what he wants to do. And if it works, it works. Whatever. But it's how his behavior around it is, right? And I think that's my biggest prerogative, is how he treats people. Did I show it? Yeah, I think I should show it. All right, give me a sec. Let me, let's see here. I am going to find this guy. This is in my project. Yeah. Okay. Let me open this. And poor Dom. So this is probably one of the reasons why.
Then say your thoughts and move on. You're giving it more time. Fuck you. Shut the fuck up, Dawn. Seriously. What do you mean? I've been talking about it for 5 minutes, bro. You piss all the way off, Dawn. I'm so sick of this. Every single time someone wants to talk shit about me, and if I want to talk about it, I got to hear from people like you about how I should handle it. Sit the fuck down and shut your mouth. I can talk about me, and I can talk about this situation if I damn well please. If I talk for too long about it, then leave. Seriously. Some guy with an enormous following, a humongous following, walks into the public and completely unprovoked calls me a piece of shit, calls me a narcissistic creep. And for what reason? For what reason? I didn't do anything to him. It's been 5 years. Move on. Do you want to know why he won't move on? Because he knows he's guilty. He knows what he did. He knows the lies that he told.
Okay, so that clip, of course, it's in members only content. Apparently that's taboo. You're not allowed to share clips in that. I would understand like not posting like entire episodes of content that's hidden behind a paywall, right? Like, okay, I get that, but I think you still get to be put out and questioned. You know, you should still be scrutinized if you do some stupid shit, even if it's behind a paywall. Sorry. But, and now to add to the context, okay, because, you know, it's very important context here. It was a little banter. Gothalion. He's a pretty notable streamer in the Destiny 2 community. And the two knew each other pretty well, actually, from back in the day. And there was a clip that Astro Cyborg, you know, posted onto the on Twitter. And I guess Gothalion, I apologize if I'm butchering the name, so I'm sorry. But so Goth, I'll just say Goth. He made a comment calling Lono a piece of shit. There was a little more to it, but yeah, and this was before Lono got his Twitch back. By the way, this was during the time that it was, you know, he was just still on YouTube. And to be honest, that really wasn't that long ago. I mean, internet terms, it's eons ago, but it was like a few months ago, I'd say. It was earlier this year. And basically somebody in this chat was just like, hey, you know, it's really time to move on. And that's when he lashes out. And that's the kind of fucking attitude that I just can't stand. I can't stand listening to somebody who acts the way he does. He talks to his audience that way. Now, does he do that all the time? No, he doesn't really do it all the time, but it does happen. And that's just, you know, one of the examples. And like today, hell, he banned a 7-year-old supporter on Twitch. Just let's see, what was it about? I can't tell you exactly what it was exactly, but Lono took it pretty personal of what the guy was saying, and basically, you know, just ended up banning him. And he tends to like to, oh, I'm going to ban you, especially if you only have a 6-month-old account. It's the dude is he's delusional, to say the least. but he's got a lot of issues. And I know that he's going through therapy, and I hope that helps him out eventually. It doesn't seem to be working very good, but I'm not a psychiatrist. I ain't going to even pretend like some people do. So anyways, that's kind of my whole process. And luckily, I think starting off the way with this first stream, just to break the ice. And of course, Lono is not going to be the only person out there. There's going to be others. And yeah, I think that just because you're a big time streamer, or you got 50K subs, 100K subs, or 1 million, I don't think that you should be where you can't be criticized, even criticizing your criticism. I don't think that should be a thing. And this whole, oh, well, you got to come in with kindness and being nice. I mean, dude, if you can't handle being on the internet, just like I'll use the words of your producer Creature, don't be pink pussy soft. That was really hard to get out. So yeah, I said that. But anyways, I mean, if you can't sit here and be criticized, then you have no point. There's no point of you being here. But of course, playing victim is your MO, and that's how you like it. You want to make sure that you are a victim. And I gotta tell you, bro, the glazing and morning coffee, good stuff. Oh boy, especially when big events happen. Ooh, oh man, you got some real simps in your corner. I gotta say, I might want to check on them because they gonna choke. They gonna choke one of these days for sure. So, anyways, so in the future, whenever I decide I want to do some more of this, especially when it comes to other creators, or just anything that I feel the need that I need to make a video and put it and display it on my live stream, and we can discuss these things, whatever it is that I find myself passionate about, right? And of course, there are others. Like I said, there's other people out there that do his type of content. And again, I highly recommend watching the Lost Art of Video Game Critique. Watch it. It's 2 hours long, but it's worth the 2 hours. I know he kind of gets into the whole the Elden Ring stuff, especially close to the end, but the first half of it, I shit you not, it will blow your mind on how this all came to be. And it was ironic how it just ended up in my lap the way it did. So it's like, holy shit, that makes so much sense. Literally, Lono from Reforge Gaming is basically just rage baiting, and he does that on purpose to keep you engaged with his content. Literally doing the thing that, the reason why I've stuck to his channel for so damn long. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in time, here, it could be tomorrow, it could be right now, that he might actually ban me from his channel, which if he does, he'll do nothing but release me from that fucking content. Release me, break the fucking chains. But it's been a long ride. It's been good. I've had my laughs hearing some of the comments say, he said, I shit you not, this dude literally was like, he tries to sound intelligent, But once you try to say, like, trying to use analogies is hilarious, bro. He'll literally sit there. I shit you not. I wish I had a clip just so you know I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. But there was a clip of him, or there was he was discussing something, but he made reference to if two vehicles were going down the road at two different speeds. So say one's going 40 and one's going 60 miles per hour, and the speed, the distance between them will always remain the same. I shit you not, that statement came out his mouth. And I was just like, dude, I almost fucking lost it. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, bro, like, you try so hard to try to be the smartest one in the room. You say some stupid shit, bro. But you know what? I wish him nothing but prosperity. Hopefully, hopefully he'll make it up to the 100K beyond. Maybe his YouTube channel will become one of the biggest YouTube channels in the industry. And I wish him the best, because I'm still a human. He's still human. Even though I think he's a fucking asshole. And he's got a lot of issues himself. He always projects onto everybody else. They're the weird ones. They're the ones with problems. And the dude will just not look in a fucking mirror for once. And it's sad. But you know what? As long as he's here and he thinks he's got the balls to stay in the ring, then we're going to laugh at him. Now, another thing I like to point out, I didn't really get to went over it, and it was, boy, don't even, what's going on? Hopefully my stream ain't fucking up. Okay, maybe it's good. Maybe I just need a refresh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Ooh. Please don't fuck up. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're still good. All right, sorry if it buffered a little bit. Anyways, he keeps kind of going back and forth on wanting to kind of go after those who do mostly woke content, right? Talking about wokeness in the gaming industry. That's kind of not really my bag, but that they exist. And hell, you know what? I wouldn't be afraid to have a one-on-one conversation with these people. Maybe they'll make a believer out of me. Who knows? But at the same time, he's kind of fighting if he should do it or not. My only issue with his is the way that he argues, where he's not actually in the ring wanting to have a conversation, because he doesn't care. He doesn't want you to have the opportunity to validate your argument in any sort of way. But he wants to be able to, instead of being there in the ring, he wants to be 5 blocks away looking through a pair of binoculars and arguing from over there, but still act as if he's doing something. He's actually, making arguments and making good talking points and having his little simps, really just glaze them up really good. So that's his problem. He doesn't want to actually get into the conversation. He just wants to be on the outside, 30,000 feet above the air, nuking from orbit type of stuff. And, that's his comfort zone. But he's not putting anything of value into the conversations. He just wants to be able to put his talking points out, and then that's it. I don't want to hear from you. I want you to listen to me, and it's not a back and forth. There's never going to be a back and forth unless if you're really nice to him, and you're kind and gentle and you're methodical, and all that good stuff. So, which, he's been lucky enough to be able to have other people, on his show, which doesn't really happen all that often. And he's already said before, I'm not quite sure if he said it in the public or if it was just in the background, but he has stated that he's not here to make friends. He's not here to do any of that. He's got his own little circle that he sticks with out in the real world, which is great. His little church group, that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But you can't also sit here and try to be like, oh, we're here to try to make some friends. I'm like, are you trying to make friends or no? Are you actually trying to enter into the conversation? And it's gonna be another rant. Here we go. The argumentation that I've noticed over the years is he's always talking about nuance this, nuance that. When it comes to his stuff, when it's from his side, it's all about the nuance. But when it comes to anybody else's, nuance goes out the fucking window, and it's literally just quote mining, like all day, every day, quote mining. Only for games. So and so said this, and it's really like one-liners, and he builds entire arguments around that one line. And Game Pass cannibalizes sales. He ran with that for a moment. I don't know if that's how he truly feels now, but oh well, Microsoft admitted that Game Pass cannibalizes sales. But when you actually look into it and you get full context, you see that there were a couple of developers did state that, but it was a year out. It wasn't, excuse me. It was a year out. It wasn't like right away, right? So, okay, give me just a sec. I'm going to switch over to this. And I really need a drink. Woo. Boy, I've been running my mouth. Just running. Oh, man. Okay. Turning this back on. Come on. There you go. So, anyways, now I do know Lono's going to try to, or, and people in his chat, we'll hear him talk about, content like, I don't know. I don't know if you could really consider myself, soft content at the point, because really, this is just day one. So I'm just going to kind of build from at this point. But I don't think that people should be discouraged from having to call someone out only because, they're a public figure. I find it quite ironic if someone tries to shame you, gaslight you, about criticizing them, and the way that he likes to argue, he wants to argue your arguing talking points, right? He'll do that for you, which is literally just, if it's something that he can't really argue against, he'll just label you. It's funny because he bitches and whines that everybody else labels him. But yeah. And of course, I know what I'm getting myself into, where I'm talking about, oh, he'll make the comment of, oh, well, if you make content about other people, then might as, I don't even remember how he fucking said it, but you're basically smooth brained if you're talking about people. Oh, simple minds talk about other people. Those were the words that he used. Simple minds talk about other people. Now that's a defense tactic that a narcissist would use in order to discourage anybody from, sharing an opinion publicly as in a form of video content, to basically hold a mirror, because apparently self-reflection is not exactly your strong suit. And this really goes out to anybody that I may come across. So you have, Reforge Gaming, which is, the main spotlight topic of tonight. And then you also have hot takes from, let's say, MBG. He's a little iffy for me. I haven't really put my thumb on him. I just kind of came across this content. I'm not really sure how I feel about how he does things. I want to say that MBG hasn't done half of the shit that Lono has done, so I'm not quite sure. I can't tell you. But if I come across it, or if I feel like I need to have something to say about a particular somebody, I'm not going to be shamed into not doing that, because you're not going to get to sit up on some pedestal. Besides, and like another comment Lono likes to use is, oh, you must be starving for content if you're talking about me. Yeah, I'm hungry. And I think you've been eating long enough, my man. I really do. I think you need to be cut down a notch a little bit, to be honest. And it looks like you got a bunch of axes swinging your way. Just like, I'm just going to be another nail in the pile. Like, that's it. Like, I'll be lost in the ether of the internet. And I think it's crazy, watching somebody that barely got any pushback back in the Destiny 2 days. And once he came out into the real world, going to different communities, they kind of did the same thing. But once he got, whenever, I guess is when it all started with the whole Spider-Man being an RPG thing. I think that's when it all went downhill. So, which is quite ironic. So, I think it's funny. I think it's fucking hilarious. And I encourage the shit out of it. People should be able to, make content regardless of who. And, it's funny because, it's okay for him to make content and say what he says about Phil Spencer. But, oh, no, you can't talk about him. Well, that's how you make yourself a target, my friend. And I hope you enjoy your stay. Whew. Well, I tell you what, I'm glad I finally busted that nut. Oh my god, dude. This has been crazy. And I've been dying to do this kind of content for quite some time. I don't even really know what to call it besides just getting on here and shit talking. I guess you could call it salt, but I'm not really sure. I haven't really developed anything yet, so this is going to be a thing in progress for sure. And I'm pretty sure in the future I'm going to look back and I'm like, man, this is some cringy ass shit. Why the fuck did I do this? Oh, but anyways, so yeah, let's talk about me. Let's talk about the content. If you made it this far, you are an OG for sure. Here, let me wet my palate here for a sec. I really should have got water. God damn. I tell you what, I would really have to have, I don't see how someone could talk for 7 hours. That's my, Lono used to do this shit for like 7 hours straight. God damn. Well, I guess it doesn't also help that I got a mask over my face too. Okay. Let me just kind of put myself together. Okay. Let's get back to it. My throat's getting all tickly from me running my mouth. So, anyways, talk about me. I want to talk about me. So, like I said before at the beginning of the stream, I did the whole YouTube thing with Destiny 2. I was doing a podcast. I didn't really get very far. And I mean, I built up like, I think the last standing was 121 subscribers at one point. And it just kind of died off. I wasn't sure how, and I wasn't being very consistent either, to be honest. But eventually, after kind of moving away from that and, you know, watching all these other people that would talk about, you know, Reforge, and I was kind of thinking, you know what, maybe I could add a little bit of something to the conversation, and maybe set the standards. So, but I wasn't really sure how to go about it. This has been my main account for, excuse me. This has been my main account for, oh, I'd say a few years now, a long time. And so I decided that I wanted to go ahead and make content on this account. What do I see kind of more in my future would be, well, I'm a different type of gamer, right? You know, I have, you know, a family of my own, of course, married. And so I kind of, I play differently than what some people do. I don't do all the, you know, just jumping from game to game to game to game. I tend to play games that require some time investment into the games. Of course, Destiny 2, or Destiny, the Destiny universe, really. And that's kind of been my bag for quite some time. And I also will play, you know, like right now I'm really playing Ark Ascended. Been playing it on my PlayStation 5. Yes, I do have a PlayStation 5, by the way. That's another thing that we could add to the lore book. And I kind of want to be able to make content when it comes to like actual video games, and I'm looking at more of doing the content not necessarily here on this channel. I think I'm trying to see how I want to go about with this channel. When it comes to different topics, that I really feel the need that I want to discuss, you know, maybe, you know, have conversations. This would be more of my internet social channel, I would say. I have another channel that I already put together. It's called the Armalite Experience. Kind of synonymous to the, or not really. Yeah, I guess you could say, with Armalite-XP. It's called the Armalite Experience. That could change. The name of the channel could change. There's nobody over there, literally. I started playing let's see. I started playing Avatar. Amazing game. Frontiers of Pandora. That game is fucking amazing. Now I know a lot of people say, well, it was just Far Cry. Well, lucky for me, I never got to play Far Cry. You know, I never got to have that privilege. So, you know, starting out with the Avatar, it was actually really, really good. And didn't get very far, and I decided, you know what, I could make content out of this. You know, so I started putting like I just did live streams. And but I don't know if I really want to do necessarily that content. It's more of the channel idea is to be able to go on adventures and using video games. I always envied people who would always find themselves kind of going on adventures like in the past. It doesn't feel like people really do that much. Maybe that's just from my perspective. That I don't see or experience those type of things. So I'm pretty sure people go on adventures all the damn time nowadays. Hell, it's even, I bet there's whole channels dedicated to it. So, but anyways, I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of go on my own adventures using video games. Another thing I really like when it comes to games is like an Ark Survival, Valheim, fuck, even Minecraft. I was on Minecraft for a long time. Is the building aspects. Oh, I love building. I have a passion to create a channel for different types of games where somebody could come in and literally almost day one to be able to start a base or whatnot. You know, a beginner house. And my biggest thing is, you know, instead of everybody living in dirt huts, you know, the old dirt boxes that everybody would be in. And and I always had this thought, like, you know, we survive in style out here, baby. We surviving in style. That's kind of my go-to thing. And yeah, that's what that channel is going to be mainly about. So this, I don't know what to call it yet. I don't know what it is. The name of the channel is probably going to remain the same. I don't think it's going to really change necessarily. Now, if I decide I want to do like a show, maybe I'll name it then, but that'll be way later. Most likely, the kind of my vision when it comes to what we're going to do, you know, down the road. I would like to build up a community and we work on that together. I would like to involve a community. You know, maybe we'll come up with a name together or some kind of, you know, shit like that. So, but anyways, well, I would say, where are we at now? Oh shit, about an hour and a half. Hell yeah, about one more minute. So, I think this, of course, this is one of those, hey, I'm going to come on here and bitch about somebody. So take it what you will. And and it is what it is. But anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here. This was a great way to be able to break the ice. I'm going to have more content coming to you later. I think my base format on how I want to go about this is doing one live stream a night I would like to maybe do it like Monday nights, like every Monday night. I would do a live stream like this. I would try to do a video once a week. Maybe I'll try to do like shorter content at first. You know, we'll work up to it, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, about Lono. It could be just about anybody. But I would say Reforge has earned his place in my categories. He's got his own little place there. So anytime I decide that I want to discuss whatever kind of hot take he had to put out there on the internet, so it could be scrutinized, well, that's where he going to end up in, is in my category section. And that goes for anybody else out there that I may come across. And yeah, I would say, like I said about MBG, I'm not quite sure. I haven't really put my thumb on him. To be honest, at first I'm thinking like, you know what, I might actually get along with him, you know, versus Reforge. I'm sorry, but I am literally in the wrong tax bracket to be hanging out in that group. God damn. But MBG, he seems like somebody that I could probably, you know, get to know and maybe have a one-on-one conversation about things. And yeah, I would be the kind of guy to press him for, you know, where he bitches and complains about people and how they, you know, they'll clip him and all this other shit. And he'll, instead of actually doing something about it or being like, hey, why don't you, if you got so much to say, why don't you come onto my channel and we could discuss it one-on-one like men? Why don't we do that? You know, like, what is this? Is this like some kind of weird, like, oh, I have clout and I don't want any of my clout to be like seeping to you or something? Is that what this is? Like, there's enough clout to go around, bro. Like, seriously, if that's what you're worried about, like, who gives a fuck? Like, seriously, if you're real passionate about a certain subject and you feel that someone is calling you out for the wrong reasons, well, won't you actually challenge them instead of just sitting there behind a chair and just whining about it? Like, that would probably be my hottest take about MBG so far. Now, and in the future, really, it's going to happen naturally. Of how I come across people. Now, of course, if this gains any traction and somebody puts somebody towards, you know, somebody be like, hey, check this person out. What's your you know, thoughts on this person? You know, I'll probably end up doing that too. But another interesting character. I don't want to. This is the end of the stream, anyways. And another character that I've come across is DSP. Holy fucking shit! Oh, wow, what the fuck is that, bro? I am convinced that this motherfucker is the whole thing is an entire act. It's not real. Like, this dude doesn't literally act like this in real life. Like, seriously. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Because there ain't no way that somebody like DSP. I bitched about Reforge, but god damn it, there's DSP. And basically, if you really listen to Reforge, he kind of sounds like DSP. You know, especially when he plays video games. Oh my god. And by all means, I'm not going to be the one that sits here and act like, you know, I'm a master gamer, right? But I'm also not trying to be an authority in the gaming space like Reforge is trying to be. So there's that. But DSP, holy fucking shit. Wow. That threw me for a fucking loop. And it makes me wonder, it's like, how many of these motherfuckers are out here like that? It's like, oh my god. Ugh. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. And of course, I didn't play no music. God damn it. I'm just ranting and rambling. I could have some music going on in the background. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section below. If you made it this fucking far, you are a real G. And let me know if you like the idea of having the music in the background or just hearing me ramble. Well, watch, somebody gonna put in there and be like, actually, you could turn your mic off and just let us listen to music. That would be great. Ha ha ha, very funny. Oh. So, all right, this was fun. I had a great time. Um, maybe we'll see you next week. Well, I'm definitely going to do next week. Maybe I'll set it up. If I don't make a video, then I'll just show you guys my beautiful collection of bookmarks on Twitter of whatever it is that I bookmarked throughout the whole week. How about that? That sounds like a good idea to me. Excuse me. Sorry. And we'll go through those videos. Oh my god. Some of those videos, Astro, I gotta tell you, man, they long as fuck. And a lot of the times I'm there live when I first hear it. It's hilarious. So, anyways, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Or whatever time it is for you at the current time. And of course, you already know the drill. Do the liking and sharing, or yeah, sure, go like, share, and subscribe. Do the YouTube thing. You already know. I ain't got to remind you shit. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and until we meet again, gamers, you stay classy.